Good Thursday morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 forecast. Lots of clouds, showers, and thunderstorms expected today and tonight. High temperatures near 88, lows around 75. Clouds and showers and thunderstorms expected Friday. A weather system coming in, and the temperatures Friday will be in the mid to upper 80s. Spotty showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. We'll go with a blend of sun and clouds Saturday and Sunday. Highs over the weekend, 85 to 92. Educate, entertain, and empower. We're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Natalie Powell. The U.S. President's visit to two cities that experienced mass shootings has sparked protests with politicians accusing the president of stoking racial tensions. Canadian police believe they found the bodies of two teenagers who were on the run, suspected of carrying out 3 murders. And at least one person has died after security forces stormed the home of the former president of Kyrgyzstan.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday to you. I hope that you're having a great start to your day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. I finally got the Glovers back in the studio to continue our conversation on Marriage Chronicles. The last show you were on, it was off the chain. It was, the conversation was lit, as the young people might say. But we're going to get into another topic on today. But before we do that, for those that may have missed it, or those who may not know you, which I don't know why they wouldn't, please introduce yourself. I'm going to start with ladies first, Mr. Glover. So, Dr. Tamara.
Good morning, everybody. I am Tamara Pace Glover, a proud native of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I'm currently assistant professor here at the University, Arkansas State University, and I am married to the one and only Mr. Leonardo Patrick Glover.
Oh, wow, she gave you a whole
Don't post tell all that. At any rate, my name is Leo Glover. I, too, am from the city of Pine Bluff. I currently am a licensed professional counselor here in the city of Jonesboro. I have a private practice as well, and I do many community activities, I'll just say. So
yes, he's all over the place. Thank you for joining us at our Juneteenth celebration. You were at the back to school bash, I think. Yeah. So anyway, you're all over the place, and thank you for the service you offer, both of you provide to the community and to our students at Arkansas State. All right, so, and also let people know you do marriage counseling as well.
Yes.
All right, so if you are married or considering getting married, engaged, please look them up. I'm sure they would definitely help you on your journey. Hopefully help you reveal some things that you might not, have talked about, which is very important. Communication is very important. We're gonna get right into our conversation. Good morning, Ms. Bethany Hill, and everyone else out there that's listening and watching. So, the title is Balance of Power, and I say balance of power or role reversal, or just kind of finding that balance of the man, the woman, the spouse, the wife, the husband. So the first question or first topic is redefining traditional roles. Some people go into marriage with this mindset, man does this, the woman does that. So let's break that down and discuss, how can we redefine the roles?
Traditionally, you expect for the wife to be home, cooking and cleaning and raising the children, and that's that. But in today, you do not have the nuclear family anymore. It does not normally exist with the 2-parent household, the child and the dog and the picket white fence. That's not normal. So with that being said, you have to figure out, first let me say this, 2 halves don't make a whole. Okay. You have to come into a relationship already being complete. I always tell people 100% of yourself is so much better than giving half of yourself. 2 wholes make 1 complete whole. And so with that being said, your individuals should be able to survive by themselves, whether they was with you or if they're without you. That's how I see it.
All right. So I've actually ran across this topic numerous times, especially here on social media recently. And my wife hit it pretty much on the head, but I'm just going to elaborate a little bit further. As we all know, here we are in 2019. The traditional roles that our parents undertook and our grandparents and our great-grandparents undertook, I won't say they're unrealistic, because there are some people that do continue to work in those roles, but it's very difficult in today's time. And I would just briefly touch on a little bit of history. The reason that those roles were undertaken by our parents and our grandparents really had more to do with the fact that the female in the family was not able to provide the amount of income that they are currently able to do. We had the women's rights or women's liberation movement in the mid-'70s that actually helped to do some of the things so far as increase salaries for women and stuff. But for the most part, I could think about my grandma. She stayed home. My grandpa worked. And it wasn't that she didn't work, because we know that keeping up with several kids is definitely a job. But she would do, little things like cook at someone's house or wash laundry or something like that. But it wasn't like she was holding down a full-time salaried position like the men were commonly able to do. Okay. So with that being said, we look at today's generation. Women working, they making money, they're making a lot of money. So, it would behoove married couples, in my opinion anyway, to have two incomes. My daddy always say 2 incomes better than one.
That's right.
Now if your significant other, whether it be the male or the female, is able to support the household with just a single income, and they making money like that, well then, hey, great for them. But I think that you can do a lot more with 2 incomes. And with that being said, that's what we do. We both work, and we bring everything to the table, and then we decide together how we're going to distribute funds and how to take care of our family the best that we know how.
And we also can, we share in the responsibility. So, for example, something as common as, or something as small as taking out the trash. If you see the trash can is full, just take out the trash. You don't wait till the man get home to take out the trash, or vice versa with the man. If you're hungry and your wife has been out working all day, don't just expect for her to come home and just cook. It's okay for you to cook too. It's so it's those kinds of things, which goes back to what I said earlier. 2 wholes make one complete whole. I always hear people say, that's my better half, that's my better half. Well, honey, y'all still missing a piece of the pie. You want your better whole.
All right. I think we talked about this before, as far as sharing the roles, So do you think that because of how society has transitioned and the images that are portrayed on TV media, that the image of family and marriage is getting distorted?
It's very much so being very distorted, especially the black family. A lot of times we often see we talked about reality shows. That's so superficial. They do that for the cameras, and so people try to emulate that, thinking that this is going to be the lifestyle that I want to have, when really it's preparing you for damages, is what I think, which is another reason why I stay away from too many reality TV shows. And honestly, I've been taking a break from social media as well, because social media can be damaging as well, especially when you're trying to, you have certain values and certain morals that you want to uplift and keep centered as it relates to the family, because I believe family is first. As many people know that I just recently gave birth, and so it's been a major life transition, a beautiful transition, and the only thing I've been wanting to focus on is my household, my child, my husband, and family, bridging, being able to have a strong foundation, especially when you're caring for a new little one. It's so important to stay away from superficial lifestyles.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that.
All right. Well, I have a kind of lengthy response on that, but I'm going to see if I can shorten it up. First of all, I totally believe that there is an attack on the black family.
Okay.
From media outlets and just other entity systems within the American culture. Okay. But with that being said, I truly believe it's what you plug into, because there are, as you would say, shows and personalities on social media that really uplift the family unit and the support of one another, a married family and raising the kids. So if you're plugging into that, then you can get fed that. But unfortunately, there has been an increase, a large increase in the displays of the opposite, where the single parent, or just people just not working together, people not even getting married, having kids, lots of kids, multiple kids,
breaking up marriages as well,
divorces as well. And so we see all of that portrayed in the media at an alarming rate. I know when I was coming up, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and it was maybe one or two TV shows that would portray something like that, but everything was about loving one another, having the families. We would all watch the Cosby Show and stuff like Amen, and it was just everything was centered around family. Even the white TV shows, and about largely a lot of Christian morals as well. But you look at TV now, you got just such much foolishness. I don't really even watch a lot of TV, just to be honest. I watch sports. That's my reality TV and cartoons. So it's all about what you plug into. I do believe there are positive images out there being displayed in the media, but largely it's negative.
Okay. All right. So I want to transition to the next talking point, which is, when your spouse devalues your work or career, and overvalues theirs. They feel, it could be the man or the woman, they feel that what I do that brings in income is much more important than what you do. So let's tackle that one.
And that's false thinking. I think that's the best way to put it. Okay. But it goes back to that courtship and you dating in the beginning, knowing who you're connecting with. Okay. And those soul ties are so powerful. So if you connect with a bad apple, then chances are you're going to continue to produce bad apples. And it's going to be rather unfortunate. So when you know who you with and who you are as an individual, you're confident in who you are as a person, then that you should be able to support the other person. And it's an old cliche that says, what is it? The dream works. I can't think of it right now. Teamwork make the dream work, right? And so when you support one another, it's so much better in general. For example, with a lot of the activities and stuff that I've been able to do, there's no way I would be as successful as I am without the support of my husband. When I was working on my PhD in social work, it was a trying time for me. It was extremely challenging and difficult. There were so many late nights that I needed a backbone, and my husband was my rock. There were so many times when I needed just things done. For example, this is something small, and that's why I know He's a good God, because He will put people in your life that are beneficial for your future and connected to your destiny. Mm-hmm. And so when I would have questions about certain things, even though my husband was not in school at the time, I was still able to bounce ideas off of him. He was able to proofread some things for me. He was there to support me, even in my in the pageantry world. My husband, I don't know if you've ever been to pageants before you got with me. But let me tell you, when I say my biggest supporter, there is no way I would have been able to compete in pageants and be, again, as successful as I am today without his support. And so I think that even though the person may have their dreams and aspirations, you need to make sure that your person that you're connecting with, especially entering into that holy covenant with, they support that. I support my husband's dreams and goals, and he supports mine as well.
All right. So my response to that really comes down to the definition that a person has about love. All right. And one of the persons that I really listened to a lot of before getting married was the late Dr. Miles Monroe. Okay. And his definition of love was very different from what I had normally, thought of or even heard from anyone else. But he put in the component of value for the other person. And so with that being said, your question basically asks what happens when your spouse devalues what you're doing. And so it really comes down to, does that your spouse value you as a person, first of all? Wow. And in doing that, they should understand. Now, I don't know, some people actually go into certain careers that really, that's not them. But most people are geared toward careers that, you know, that's them, that's where they're passionate about, that's what they really enjoy, and that's what we should be doing anyway. If all my listeners, you know, go for something that you actually love, okay, that you're passionate about. And if that is the case, then, you know, if you devalue what they're doing, basically what you're doing is devaluing that person.
You don't respect them.
Yeah, you don't respect them or their decisions. And that's actually something, you know, you guys need to talk about, because I can definitely see how that would draw a huge wedge in a relationship or marriage. If I'm doing what I love to do, and this is what I believe that my purpose is, this is my calling or whatever, and you saying that it's not important, that's an issue.
That's a problem.
All right. I want to say good morning to a few people. Mrs. Maddie Warren and Miss Kaylee Parker and Dr. Sharice Jones Branch and Tiffany Tip Miller says, thank you both for all you do. And Kaylee says, great couple, wise words. Thank you all for checking in. Please share this video. Leave your comments. If you're married, you have some comments to add, questions you would like to ask, please feel free to do so, or give us a call, 870-277-1080. All right, so we're going to go into the next one, which is kind of... Okay, I know it's morning radio, but we're going to talk about it anyway because, you know, you all are married, and a lot of married couples face these issues when it comes to sex and intimacy. Okay. That can be a big, how can I say, now that can put a wedge in a relationship, either when you're not engaging or there's a lot of other emotions happening and you're separating yourself, maybe unconsciously or consciously. But anyway, the question is, well, the statement is basically withholding outside of health reasons. I went through my marriage for a long time. Let's just say we went for a long period of time, not even engaging in kissing, like just nothing. Like that's when I knew the marriage was over. So I know there are other couples that experience some of those issues as well. Or using intimacy as leverage for selfish gain. And also tied into that, should a couple have angry interaction? Or should they work out their issues before resuming intimacy? So, and then does that energy transfer? So we'll just start with the first one, withholding and then using it as leverage.
Okay, withholding, using it as leverage, totally inappropriate, not good, not healthy for the relationship, and just overall, you know, that's not cool. Okay. If you want your relationship to work, you got to be intimate. And I understand that, you know, in today's time, we're all so busy doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. But you got to make time sometime to be intimate. And there are different levels of intimacy. You know, we got all the way from, you know, full-blown intercourse to just, you know, holding hands and watching a movie. What is it now that all the kids are saying, the Netflix and chill? You know, let's go to the park. You know, let's get some ice cream, whatever. It's different levels of intimacy. But I think you need to touch on each level as well on a regular basis. Now, I will admit, we've had some instances where we get busy with doing this and this and this and that, and sometimes our intimacy will suffer, but we at least have the, I'll just say, we'll just come out and say, hey, what's going on here? You know, we need to do this and we need to do that. You know, this is daytime radio. So, and then, you know, we go ahead and do whatever we need to do. But it's always on different levels. You know, hey, you want to come watch this movie with me? Because I would quickly go downstairs in my little area and watch sports all day. But then she'll call me and be like, hey, you want to watch a movie? Or vice versa. So it's levels to it, but it has to be there. And you should by no means, you know, use it as leverage or withhold. Because really all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. I mean, I've done some marriage counseling, and that's one of the main reasons why people go outside of the marriage to seek intimacy, because you trying to withhold and, you know, use it as leverage. And they're like, okay, I don't really have to deal with that. And then before you know it, you got a really bad thing on your hands. So don't do that, people.
All right. Well, and you have to understand that first and foremost, again, it goes back with who you've connected with. Okay, The one thing I will say is you have to be able to keep the spice alive in all of the entire relationship. And so when you know that person, you know what they need and what they want, and you want to make sure you're able to give them everything that they need and they want, so that they don't have to go outside of the marriage. And it also calls for you to be a little bit strong-minded too, because if you're weak-minded and let's say that you're real busy and you haven't been able to be as intimate with your partner, and we're talking about full-blown intercourse, then if you're weak-minded, then you may step outside the marriage, and that's going to cause a major problem. But if you take care of his and her needs, then you don't have to worry about anything else. And one thing that I would say about my husband and I, we have little code words. So for example, if he's at work or I'm at work, we got a little code so we know what time it is when when we get back to the house, not to just share too much. But the other thing is being strong. And I will say this without going into too much details. When Leo and I got engaged, we talk about living a holy life, and we talk about just trying to do things in decency and in order. And there was a period of time where when we said, you know what, we're going full throttle, we want to do this right, well, we stepped away from each other because it was ungodly for us to engage in sexual activities when we were not married. And my aunt told me this. She said, this is appropriate, the best sex is when you're married, it's the best sex. It's blessed sex is what she called it. And so in saying all of that, you first and foremost, don't withhold. Second, know your partner, know what they need, know what they want, because the last thing you want to do is send them out there to get to the booger wolves. And I say booger wolves because
wow.
I say that because there are some people, men and both women, it's not just the women, that are lurking to tear down happy homes and to mess or to find that gate so they can get in and try and creep. It's a little crack, and they try to sneak in to try and mess up some stuff. There are a lot of people who love stolen water. And so if they feel like, oh, well, first I'm going to start with the conversation. Mm-hmm. I see that they're not talking at home or whatever the case may be. And then that gives them that little leeway to get in there. Because, again, like my husband said, intimacy is not just physical. There are several levels to intimacy.
Okay. We're going to put a pin right there. We're going to get ready for our first break. Good morning to D'Angelis Bullard. So I hope everyone's taking notes. And hopefully you're having conversation with your own spouse. But we're going to be back after these announcements with more Marriage Chronicle topics. Don't go away. Please stay tuned.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
What's the kryptonite in your marriage? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Superman's virtually indestructible, but he can be brought to his knees by a tiny piece of rock. Kryptonite drains him of his powers and makes him vulnerable. Prolonged exposure will even kill him. Well, what about us mere mortals? In marriage, we can often see the big things coming. The small things, criticism, indifference, keeping score. These little radioactive stones can creep up on us and slowly zap our marital resolve. Left unchecked, they have the potential to slay the strongest marriage. So take a page from Superman's book. Be vigilant, be aware of these possible dangers, and learn how to hold on to what's good. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a non-profit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
IHS BTW Reunion of Classes presents Praise and Pasta Gospel Concert Saturday, August 10th at the Glass Factory, 313 West Huntington Avenue in Jonesboro. Show starts at 1 o'clock p.m. featuring Tara Newman, Elder Catherine Chandler Moore and Samantha Davis. Special guest artist Jay Danielle. Ticket information eventbrite.com, keyword IHSBTW. Proceeds from this event go to benefit the IHSBTW Reunion of Classes 2020.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
Hi, I'm R-Dub, host of Sunday Night Slow Jams, with a special invitation to join me this Sunday night. We're gonna slow it down and make the most of the last few moments of your weekend. With slow jams and special expressions to the ones you love. So come on through and bring a friend. I'll see you for Sunday Night Slow Jams. Sundays from 8 to midnight on 102.5 KLEK.
Check out Melvin Williams of the Williams Brothers every Sunday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. here on KLEK for the Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, playing the very best in quartet and inspirational gospel music that you'll love, as well as feature interviews with all of your favorite gospel artists. It's Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, Sundays from 5 to 7 a.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
House of Details, located at 3915 East Highland in Jonesboro, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with the motto of anything mean we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and at klekfm.org.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guests, Dr. Tamara and Mr. Leo Glover. They are here talking about, well, our topic is Marriage Chronicles. And so we've been talking about a variety of things so far, and I hope that you all have enjoyed it. But we're going to get right back into our conversation so we don't waste any more time. So just to kind of piggyback and wrap up our last discussion about intimacy, I want to get in, some comments about some people engage when they're angry, upset, they're dealing with high emotions, negative emotions. What would be your advice on that? And then when you're engaging, when you're angry, does an energy transfer, and could it cause more problems than you need?
When we were engaged, we received some really good advice. Even during our marriage counseling, we received some really good advice from the pastor that did our marriage counseling. And one thing we've learned is that never go to bed mad. Okay. One of the things that we try not to do, we've talked about this at the last session, is that we first and foremost, we don't discuss the D word, which is divorce. We don't, because we know that when we got to the altar, we took an oath before God and before people, but more importantly before God, to enter into a holy covenant. And so in saying that, you have to understand that your body is not your own. Okay. My body completely belongs to my husband and vice versa. So it does me nor him any good for any one of us to withhold, intimacy from one another. The next thing is you have to think about how much time we have in a day. We have 24 hours. That's 1,440 some odd minutes, I believe, in a day. And anytime you spend being mad at your significant other, that's time you are taking away from the happiness that you guys have decided to share. And that's another thing. We try not to have heated fellowships. I don't call them arguments. We say heated fellowships. Okay. And we try not to have that. It's like, why would I be mad and upset with this person, considering the fact that I know I'm with them? Like, I'm not leaving, he not leaving. What's the purpose? And the other thing is, I know how some people say, well, yeah, we had makeup sex or angry sex and now everything. You're right. Sex does not fix anything. It may put a Band-Aid on it for a while if your partner is good, but if not, it's more so just it's adding fuel to the fire. Okay. And so you know how, for example, when people who are not married engaged, we call them, that's an unholy marriage. Mm-hmm. So you have these different negative soul ties. So in saying all of that, energy does transfer. Where your focus goes, that's where your energy goes as well. And so in saying all of that, I don't think it fixes anything. It makes the matter just that much worse, if that makes any sense.
Well, okay, so to me, it depends on what the problem is. Because if the problem initially is intimacy, then hey, let's have this. Hey, you know, hey, all right, morning talk show. At any rate, but as my wife was hinting, doing it while you're angry really is not going to resolve the underlying issue unless the issue is, as I just stated, intimacy. I mean, those problems are still going to persist, going to exist or whatever. But I think what it does allow, though, is, you know, once you guys have become intimate again, that actually will bring the attitudes and the anger down a little bit, hopefully, so that you can actually converse about it and, you know, come to a solution about the problem. Okay. All right. And then the other thing we all understand is that intercourse, or, you know, intimacy, we'll say, is a stress relief. Okay. And so we, you know, sometimes life is just so stressful, and we really don't even mean to be angry with one another. We're just so stressed out, and we probably need that in order to just, hey, let everything go and then come back to, you know, it's just me and you. And then just one other thing I would add to all of that is, look, we got to take care of ourselves better. That's right. Too. You know, get you some exercise in, start eating right, read a book, you know, take your bubble bath, whatever you got to do some stretching or something, you know. Take care of yourself, learn how to de-stress, and of course for married couples, intimacy is a great way to do that as well.
Alrighty then, so I'll just see another topic stemming off from this, which I wrote down some notes, the different levels of intimacy, and hope that maybe that'll be our next topic. And so people can understand, again, there's more to intimacy than just the physical act. There's a whole lot more that goes in that. And then we can go into some of the love language topic, because I think some people, they navigate marriage and relationships from their perspective, what they think the other person wants versus what the person needs. So
that's good.
That'd be another great topic. Okay. All right, so I want to get into some other, I guess you say, for fun. He said, she said, because we know women and men respond differently to different things. So question number 1, should your current spouse take the heat for the behaviors of your... Okay, I wrote this wrong. Okay. I said for your ex. Let me read it. Okay.
So, yeah, I got you.
So you were with someone before, and they had this nasty demeanor. Should your current person you're with take the heat, and then always, it's like you're always on guard about... It's almost like you're expecting them to be the same, or you expect, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
Definitely. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I go ahead. Well, the answer to that is no. They should take the heat. Okay? That's just totally unfair. I mean, the reason you got with this person, hopefully, is because you think that they're different than the person that you were with previously, who you did not like or that it didn't work out with. Now, hopefully that's why you're with them. You know, people do things for weird reasons and have ulterior motives, but hopefully it's because you're getting with this person because you see a future down the line and you think, hey, it'll be, you know, we'll probably be good together. So the answer to that is no. You got to give everybody their own chance. Now, it is only human nature that if that's all what we have experienced, and we have a lot of negative experiences coming from relationships, our walls are going to be up a little bit, and we're going to be hesitant in a certain manner. But you got to kind of, as we say, you got to check yourself.
That's right.
And if you understand that you're doing that, especially if your partner is saying, hey, that's not me, you compare me to somebody else, then you need to fall back and just kind of, recognize things for what they are and give that person a chance to, so you can actually find out who you're really getting with, as opposed to just having a preconceived notion of who that person is.
And I'm a firm believer that we attract who we are and not necessarily what we want. Mm-hmm. And in saying that, our perception is our reality. And so if you were in a previous relationship, and you started a new relationship, that's another time for you to come to the table to talk about those things that didn't work, or for you to look at and weigh those things that did not work in that old relationship and figure out what did you do to contribute. Because oftentimes we can see fault in other people and we can't see fault within ourselves. But it's only when you really take a strong look in the mirror at the person staring you in the mirror and say, you know what, I need to figure out how can I be more of an asset in the next relationship that I'm in, or in the current relationship that I'm in. Because if you don't deal with that baggage from the last relationship, you'll bring that into the new relationship, and you'll start projecting. It's called you start projecting those emotions and those feelings and that negative behavior onto that other person, and you'll start to emulate or see things that other person did, and you haven't resolved those issues. So you have to take a strong look in the mirror as well.
All right. Now I want to ask a counter question to this. Okay, so you're in your relationship, you're married, your spouse does have a nasty demeanor, a nasty mouth. They pop off, they just going for the jugular at all times.
Oh, Lord.
Should you apologize, man or woman, should you apologize for the behavior of your spouse? Or how do you deal with it?
So, again, it goes back to who did you connect with? You need to know your spouse. I'm a firm believer, if you've done something wrong, you have to be woman enough or man enough to take responsibility for it. Whatever I do, I'm responsible for my own actions. My husband cannot take responsibility for any choice that I make. So if I know I'm in the wrong, then it's going to take me to say, you know what, I was wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. I think that's one of probably my best qualities, is that if I am wrong, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm wrong. And not just in my marriage, but even with my friends and my family members. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment, we say things that we've been thinking that may not be just appropriate. And we all have these thoughts that may not be the best at that time. However, you have to have some type of self-control. A person without self-control is like a city with broken walls, and that's biblical. So we have to have self-control, and that comes back to having that discipline, not just in our actions, but not just in our physical actions, but in our verbal language as well, because we say that sticks and stones may break our bones, but words may never hurt us. But actually, words kill and words hurt. And so you have to be mindful of what you're saying, because again, you're speaking life. You're giving life to whatever it is that's coming out of your mouth. So you have to be mindful. But no, your spouse cannot take ownership for your actual behavior.
All right.
Well, I got a slightly different spin on that. I definitely agree with everything my wife is saying, but I do kind of understand initially why a person would, take up for their spouse, who whatever has I guess bad attitude or whatever. But the key to it is, in public, you take up for your spouse. I've had previous relationships where I've had to, intervene and be like, look, hold on, no, you back up. She, just kind of help to settle things down. Okay. But with that being said, afterwards, there does need to be a conversation with your spouse or significant other about, hey, wait a minute, what was that out there? Because whether you understand it or not, your significant other, your spouse, is actually a reflection of you.
That's right.
Okay, and of your union. So conversations do need to happen where, if your spouse has, a really bad attitude or something like that, hopefully you and your spouse can resolve those issues. But if not, shameless plug, I am a therapist, I'm a counselor. You guys probably need to go get some help too. Well, and it's not a joking matter. That's because, right. As a community, we actually run away from getting the appropriate type of help that we need. Look, if a guy or a girl has anger management issues, which there are a lot of people out there that have those, and they're always blowing up in every small thing, and they can, start getting verbally and physically aggressive. Those are issues that really, really, really need to be addressed within a professional therapeutic environment, and there's no other way around that. It has to be done. Needs to be done.
Well, now let me say this too. Now, when my husband was speaking, and more so in terms of if someone in the public comes back to tell you something that your husband or your wife has done, there is not a person, and in case you haven't noticed, but there's not a person that can come and tell me anything about my husband. Right. And if you're thinking that you will, I'm telling you right now, you better not, because it's going to be a major problem, because like my husband said, we're a reflection of one another. So for those couples, don't allow other people to tell you anything about your wife or your husband. You stop them right there. And the same thing goes about your children as well. Because guess what? They already know. So we don't need anybody else to come and tell us anything. Let them deal with that and handle that. They better not.
You have been warned, okay?
Look, I'm just being honest. Nobody can come and tell me anything about my family. You just can't. I'm sorry.
All right. I want to say good morning to Miss Wendy Wade Stotts, Delilah Moore, who says, my family, awesomeness in the making. And Shamika Stewart Holmes says, transference, great point. All right. So question number 2. How do you feel if your spouse mourned the death of a friend more than their spouse is mourning? I watched a movie. I know it's just a movie, but sometimes it happens in real life. This lady who was really good friends with this guy, she mourned his death harder than his own wife did. So you all have... Whoa. I know this.
Well, you said it was a movie where the friend mourned the death of that loved one more than the person that was married to them? Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, anytime, I know that's a different one, but people have a different connection with, they connect with people on a different level. Okay, now you would hope that, first let me say this, on the food chain, when I say the food chain, when it comes to losing a loved one, the top of the list is a spouse and a child. Okay. You hate to lose anybody, but if you lose your significant other or a child, that cuts really deep, But in saying that, other people, I have lost cousins, siblings, and different things of that nature, and a part of you just... It dies when that person dies, and you want to keep their memory alive. And so in saying all of that, you cannot tell a person how to grieve. Okay. There are 5 different stages to the grief process. And so when a person loses a loved one, they have the right to feel the way that they feel and to grieve the way that they grieve. Now, you want to do it in such a way that it is therapeutic and so that you can start the healing process. Now, who knows what that spouse or their significant other was like, or what their marriage was like, and as to why they're not grieving. And again, we talk about movies. A lot of times I feel like that stuff is realistic. Some of that stuff has happened, but sometimes it is just it is a movie. And so, nowadays you got people killing people for life insurance policies and different things of that nature. So who knows what the background story is? But people have a different connection to people, or they connect on a different level. So who knows what the mental state of that person was when they lost that friend or they lost their spouse? Okay.
I just say, once again, she hit it on the head. It's all about the connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if they had a bad relationship or marriage, they probably not going to be just boo-hooing too tough when a significant other dies. If somebody else had a great relationship and a great connection with them, then they're probably going to mourn a little bit harder. With that being said, the idea is that your spouse should be your best friend, though.
So they should be mourning the death of someone else, so hard that it affects your marriage.
Yeah, and if he dead, how's it affecting the marriage? So I don't, or she, But my whole thing is, I see what you're saying. It's kind of implying that the friend had a closer relationship with the person than their spouse did, which could very well happen. But when it all comes down to it, as my wife indicated, everybody grieves differently, and everybody should have a right to grieve the way that best fits them. And for you to try to dictate Why you all mad? Because, that's a little excessive and kind of out of place.
All right. Question number 3. Should someone give up their childhood friend because their spouse is insecure or jealous of the friendship? And I've seen this in real life. So, just like either you had a friend, an opposite sex friend, from your childhood, but now you're married, but then your spouse feels some kind of way, like they're too close, they hang around too much, they call sick. Should you give them up, or should that friend just know, okay, they're married now, let me give them space?
Well, it just really depends on what level of friendship was shared beforehand. Okay. If you guys were like dating or something, or you had actually become intimate or whatever, then to me, that should be cutthroat. That should be over with, or it should be something that's very, very minute, to the point where I'm not communicating with that person on a regular basis. They don't have my phone number no more. Have their phone number? We not, as the kids say nowadays, in each other DMs and all that kind of foolishness. I mean, that's just trouble waiting to happen. So in regard to that, yeah, if that is going to put a hindrance on your relationship or strain on your relationship, then it's probably best that you let that friend go, and you can just do it with tact. Hey, I'm with this person now, so the thing that we shared, or the relationship we shared, is basically going to come to an end. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but this is where I'm at now, so I would appreciate it if you kind of fall back, because I'm going to fall back.
Okay. And it goes back to what my husband said earlier, that value and respecting your significant other and your marriage and what you have. If you know that it's something that's bothering your significant other, then you got to deal with that and address it. You don't want to intentionally do anything that's going to affect your marriage or affect the person that you're with. Now, I've seen this situation on Blackish, and it was a situation where the husband was really good friends. Him and Tyra Banks grew up, and basically he wanted to do more things with her than he wanted to do with his wife. And so you want to figure out or find, again, that spice in your relationship so that no one else comes in to kind of take that time. And here's the thing, if it's truly a friendship like my husband was saying, then how about we all do things together? And so you want to address those insecurities. But again, if you have your own insecurities, that means that you're still trying to figure out who you are as a person and who you are in their relationship. And so you want to make sure that you know who you are so that you can address those insecurities. And you can't wait on your spouse to do that for you, because they'll never be able to measure up.
Okay. And I know we're getting ready for a break in about a minute or so. Is it okay, or I know everybody's answer is different, to have opposite sex friends that is not necessarily close with your spouse? Maybe
they don't have the same relationship. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, my opinion, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I got female friends I'm cool with, but once again, I'm not just seeking them out, trying to spend time with them or nothing like that. It's just, hey, we cool. Yeah, if we in the same space, yeah, we can hang. It's all good. If we communicate, that's fine, but it's not anything where it's going beyond that.
You're not calling, texting, meeting up for drinks.
And the lines of communication are open as a result. I know about them. I mean, we all know the lines of communication are open. It's when you start to hide things. And again, because we know intimacy is on a different level, you can have a conversation with somebody and it leads to, because emotional connection, that's real. So you want to just make sure the lines of communication are open.
All right. So we're going to go into another break. When we come back, we're going to do something really just for fun. He said, she said. I'm working on some extra projects, so I guess you all are going to do my trial run here. So please stay tuned to Community Conversations. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Esmond Jr. Here are 3 things every teen needs to learn about money. First, teach the value of saving while you are young. If an 18-year-old puts $3,000 into a retirement account today and it earned an average interest rate of 8%, she will have more than $100,000 in that account when she turns 65. Second, teach them to value earned money via part-time employment, entrepreneurship, and investing over loans or gifts. If the only time you ever talk about money is when they're asking you for some, that is a problem. Finally, teach teens the rewards of delayed gratification. Let them know that it's far better to save for what they want instead of taking on credit card debt just to get it right away. Of course, it helps if you're teaching by example. When it comes to teens and money, do as I say, not as I do, just won't cut it. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Help keep KLEK on the air. We are seeking 100 donors to give at least $20 per month, but we are happy with any gift, large or small. Come by our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro. Call us at 870-277-1080 or visit our website, klekfm.org, or you can use Cash App, $KLEKFM, or text KLEK1. Send it to 44321.
Anointed Prolube, 1216 East Johnson Avenue, serves the Jonesboro community inspired by Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. They offer brake service, oil changes, tire plugs, basic tune-ups, wiper blade changes, bulb changes, and coolant system flushes. Open Monday, Thursday, and Friday 8 to 5, Tuesday and Wednesday 8 to 4, and Saturday 8 to 2. More information, 870-520-5039.
The Office of Diversity and Community Engagement at Arkansas State University, under the leadership of Dr. Maurice Gibson, is a proud supporter of KLEK and is dedicated to finding innovative ways to advance their mission of creating a diverse and inclusive environment, conducive to educating, enhancing, and enriching lives, uplifting various and diverse groups on the A-State campus, and striving to maintain Arkansas State University a place that is inclusive to all individuals, regardless of origin, color, religion, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. More information about the Arkansas State University Office of Diversity and Community Engagement is available at www.astate.edu/diversity and 870-972-3081.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Work. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
KLEK 102.5 FM salutes small businesses. Small businesses promote local character and success, keeping money in the local economy, local jobs, entrepreneurship, community well-being, and so much more. Contact us today to learn more on how your small business could be featured on KLEK for as little as $25 per month. Shout out to Always and Forever Pet Grooming, offering baths, nails, and haircuts for dogs and cats. 2929 South Caraway Road, Jonesboro. 870-520-0925.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I hope you all have been enjoying this conversation as much as I have, even though I'm not married anymore, but I will be again one day. I am taking notes, and just like Miss Tiffany Justin, who checked in and said, great insight, I'm taking notes. Thanks for sharing, and good morning to Mrs. Latasha Pye. Thanks for checking in. All right, so this last segment is just going to be just fun. Again, he said, she said. How would you respond? So, and this is for both of you. Babe, let me use your phone.
Oh, we do that all the time.
Yeah, that's nothing. You know. People who don't do that, they got something to hide.
That's
really
right.
That's right. My wife, she got the fingerprint on there. She know the password, everything, and vice versa. It ain't it's nothing.
Can I use your phone?
That's awesome. Now, what about if you're trying to do something special? Say you want to plan something, you got note, because we all have like this notepad in our phone. Do you try to say like, okay, wait a minute, let me either delete or hide, or because you don't want to ruin a surprise, or you maybe Google something, screenshot an idea for a party. You know what I mean?
So that's where that trust comes in. So, for example, if I need to use Leo's phone, I'm only using it for one or two reasons. Okay. Well, maybe three now. One, to make a phone call. Two, to use the internet. Or for three, to use Messenger for my nephew, because I don't have Facebook anymore right now, and so I need to use it for those reasons. But to be dibbling, dabbling, going through his notes or pictures or other apps or whatever, that means that there's some kind of insecurity within myself, and I feel like I don't trust him. You have to trust your significant other, and so unless he gives me a reason to not trust him, and in the event that occurs, I'm not going to go to his cell phone. I'm going to go directly to him. And that's what I think people should do. The lines of communication are so vital and so important in making a marriage work. They have to be addressed all the time.
Okay. I'm just going to add in, listen, if you, my brother's going to hate me for this, but I'm going to go ahead and say, look,
just a second.
If you feeling like something's going on, man, we not that wise. It's going to be in the phone. So therefore, like I said earlier, if a person hiding stuff, you can't use my phone or what, that's just simply because you hiding something.
That's right.
Okay. But like you said, you gave an instance where it actually, a person might want to hide something, so I mean, okay, hey, you better delete it or whatever. But if a person, like, they have no text messages in their phone for the last week or something, or, your call history is totally deleted every day, come on, people, men and women, wake up. That's a huge red flag. You know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Good morning, Miss Cecilia Elise. She says, beautiful couple. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, number 2. She says, I'm going to the store. I'm leaving the kids here. And then he says, I'm going out with boys. I'll be back in a few hours.
That's easy. I mean, somebody got to watch the kids. So unless you're finna hire you a babysitter, somebody better be staying home. Now, hopefully you guys got that kind of relationship where a person doesn't feel too stressed out by the fact that, that they have to watch the kid or the children, but that shouldn't be that big of an issue. Y'all both made them. So both should be willing to watch and take care.
Speaking of kids, here's baby Glover.
Oh my goodness.
He's sleeping.
Look at him.
Oh, he's woke now.
He's so adorable. We finally get to meet baby Glover. What's his name?
Sasuke A-Ray Glover. Look at him. He just woke up from his little nap.
Like, y'all woke me up for this.
Hey. You gonna say hey to the people?
He's so adorable.
I don't know if they can see you or not.
Not gonna say anything.
Look at him.
Yeah, he just like...
He's asleep. My baby is sleeping.
The eyes are going back closed. All right, so I thank you all so much for being my guest and indulging me in my question. This has been very fun and very just informative as well. And I hope people are really listening and taking notes, especially those that are married or those considering, even if you're considering marriage. it's never too early to start, really thinking long term and thinking deeper about what you want in a spouse, what your do's and don'ts, or what you'll put up with, what you won't, all that good stuff. Again, if you need some counseling, reach out to the Glovers. They're here to help you. So thank you all so much. And hopefully it won't be such a long time spent before we get y'all back again.
We'll be back.
Well, thanks again for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate being here today.
All right, and thank you everyone out there for listening and watching and for supporting KLEK. We are your community radio station. We could not do what we do without you. Everyone have a great and blessed day, and try to stay hydrated and cool in this weather.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Say bye to the baby.
Say bye, sounds good.
No.